It was the only goal of the well-contested final between Rivers Angels and Naija Ratels, who were making their first trip to the final. I mean, for Rivers Angels, they were winning it for the ninth time, and they were looking forward to get the very best of that particular trophy, especially for White Ogbonda, who won in that particular fashion his first trophy. Let me come to you now, Jeremiah. Fantastic ball for Rivers Angels and the first trophy for Coach White Ogbonda. What do you make of the final? You were at the stadium on Saturday.
Thank you very much, Favor. Firstly, let me just congratulate Coach White because it's long overdue, playing in 3 finals, losing 2, and eventually winning the 3rd one with Rivers Angels. And just like what he said yesterday, that one of the things that actually disqualified him for a particular top job was the fact that he asked him if he had actually won a title before, and he was like, no, I've actually finished second on 2 occasions. And today, like, he was fulfilled, winning the title. And now look at Rivers Angels and look at the fact that when you look at that team compared to Naija Ratels, I will say that one of the problems Naija Ratels fails in that game yesterday was the inexperience of some of the players. If you look at some of these guys, they were very, very young. They've never been in this kind of top sports, playing in the final of Nigeria's oldest competition. And you now look at compared to Rivers Angels, who at one time they've dominated Nigeria, and as well to express or extended that outside the country too as well. So I think that was one of the problems, because if you look at the second half, towards the last 20 minutes of the game, Naija Ratels had a very clear chance, about 2 chances to have actually get themselves a goal in that game. But fortunately, you look at the way they approach it, look at the way that I think the players were really not really keen into the game because of the fact that their manner of approach into that game. I think one of the things that actually come to play in that game yesterday was the fact that experience was actually the key thing there. And if you look at Coach White, he has been playing the finals consecutive times too, and he already knows what to do and how to do it. Although Coach Bankole, Coach Molowe, sorry, actually had this, and it was like, oh, we could have actually made history, looking at the fact that a private club getting to the final, we could have actually, like, assuming we won the cup, we actually made history as in the debut and winning the competition. But at the same time, they are so grateful that they are working on a 5-year plan, and they are not doing bad so far with what they've been able to achieve this season.
All right, interesting one right there from you, Jeremiah. Let's quickly hear from both coaches, both of them, especially for Lubukere Bankole, a national team coach, not getting the medal there, and of course the captain, and of course Coach White Ogbonda, and the captain of Rivers Angels.
We lost the game. We all watch the game. Are they that superior than not see the game? The answer is no. So it's just the luck. The element of luck just came in somewhere along the line. But that's game for you. Football is part of it. I mean, luck is part of football. So you just take it the way it is. And we'll go back again and work harder. This is our forte, as I said the other time. We need to go and use the remaining year to be able to work on it and get a better result. So we all both go home and go and work on ourselves. I don't know about the other team, but more than I have to have it. Let me go and work on my team to do more better. It's not that maybe because I'm superior or like game cooperation. I mean, if you compare the two together, they're not better than us. So that's just the luck. The game of football has come to their side. We'll congratulate them for that.
Because the teams who started with this Federation Cup were 36 in number, and by the end of the day, these are the 2, Ratels and Rivers Angels. And for them to qualify to this level, I know they are good. So I wasn't expecting an easy match from Naija Ratels. So it wasn't an easy match, but by the end of the day, we were able to excel and got 1 goal and get the trophy for Rivers Angels and for Rivers State.
Feel very honored to have this one. This is the big one, and for it to have been renamed, this is the first time, so we are honored to have been the first to lift it up. It means so much because most of the players in the team, coming from where the clubs they're coming from, most of them have not won any trophy, and coming to win this one, it's indeed an added market value to us in our career and our personal lives, considering what the sponsors promised, and the tag money on the trophy is even massive. This is the first time it's getting to this point, so it's something worthwhile.
All right, and that was the captain right there. She's very outspoken, talking about winning this particular one. Bankole for the women's category. Let's take a look at the, first of all, the prize money given to the women. It was first time in history we had an upgrade of the prize money. Usually it used to be around 10 million, but now Rivers Angels pocketed 25 million naira. Runner-up, Naija Ratels, 10 million naira. Most valuable player, Blessing Okpe for Rivers Angels. Top scorer, Agama Zibi Perifege of Naija Ratels. Best goalkeeper, Agatha Thompson of Rivers Angels. A whooping 25 million naira. What do you make of the recent announcement and amounts given to Rivers Angels, Bankole?
I mean, it's nice. It's it's the minimum that we should expect. I mean, you look at how much goes into running a football club, running a female football club, going across the country, playing games against your opponents. Football is quite expensive. Football should be a business. So when you go on to win titles, when you go on to win cup competitions, it means you should expect to make profits. That is how it is seen everywhere around the world. So when you cut short on prize money, it means that you're not exactly helping these teams. And if we see 25 million, thanks to the sponsors, hopefully we can have more sponsors. The higher or the more bodies or the more private bodies comes into sponsoring the game, the higher the title money would be. So I expect it to get better. I expect 25 million is a huge amount of money, but when you put it in the context of running a football club, it necessarily might not mean a lot. It necessarily might not make a significant dent in what Rivers Angels have invested so far all through the season. But it's a good one for them. Hopefully the players will also benefit from this largesse. And next year we would get to see an increase in the prize money.
All right, let me come to you now, Jeremiah. Looking at what you saw at the women's final on Saturday, what do you make of women's football in Nigeria? Do you think that we can now take, not just about Africa, even Africa now, we are lagging behind. South Africa is taking the women's football in Africa by storm. Do you think we can take a step further towards gaining dominance again in Africa and taking it to the world?
Yes. One thing about life is change. I think that's the only constant thing. And at one point in life, we've seen countries, or you've seen particular people actually taking that stage. And with what I've seen so far, with the way the Super Six in Bayelsa, and with this Federations Cup final, the President Federation Cup final between Rivers Angels and Naija Ratels, it actually shows that we are growing. There are a lot of, aside from we are growing, even including we are looking at a lot of private bodies coming into play to see how this game can actually get to the better stage, And just like what you said, South Africa is actually making that big wave. I think last year I was speaking to someone from South Africa, and we were looking at how the government there, they are so intentional about putting a lot of investment, a lot of funds into female football in that country. And if you look at it, not only South Africa, even other African countries. And Nigeria too, if you look at the way the Nigerian Women's League too have actually experienced that significant change in this season, and looking at what the plans that the new NWFL board has actually putting into place. I can say that we are not just only looking at what we get right now, we're looking at something that that the country is actually going to benefit in years and years to come. So with what I saw yesterday, with how a private club gets into the final, it actually shows that not only government is actually interested in this, private bodies too are looking at it, they are seeing the perspective, the positive light. Because if you look at the way Super Falcons players have actually shown abroad, you look at the likes of Asisat and Rashida Ajibade, look at top players that played for the Super Falcons. I think Desire Okparonoze was actually at the stadium too yesterday. We're actually seeing that what men can do, women can actually do better too as well. Okay. So that way, I think that's just one of the ways. And if you look at how the women footballers have actually explained Nigeria to the outside world, I think it actually shows that we've actually put a lot of investment into women soccer.
All right. Meanwhile, it was not just about the women. Nigeria Premier Football League side, of course, that's the recent nomenclature given to Kanemi Warriors. They were crowned champions of the 2024 President Federation Cup after they outclassed Abia Warriors in a one-sided final at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, securing their third national title. Nasiru Saliu was the hero of the Maiduguri side, scoring in each half to, of course, ensure his team qualified for the CAF Confederations Cup next season, alongside Eyimba, who finished third in the Nigeria Premier Football League. And looking at the beautiful run of the side, it was, of course, outstanding to see that in an NNL side playing against an MPFL side, they were able to outclass Abia Warriors. I mean, all the way from Borno, Maiduguri to the city of Lagos, Nigeria. Bankole, fantastic run for El Kanemi Warriors. And what a way to usher themselves into the Nigeria Premier Football League season.
Absolutely, not just ushering themselves into the NPFL, also getting a spot on the continent. They are qualified for the CAF Confederations Cup, and so it's really nice to see an NNL team, win the FA Cup. And you look at your Kanemi Warriors, you look at the pedigree that they have in the NPFL. They're one of the household names that we've known in the last decade or so. So it's good to see them back in the NPFL, and also see them win that title right there, the Mobolaji Johnson. So it's a testament to how difficult the NNL is. People tend to underestimate how hard it is to get promotion back into the NPFL. You look at the quality of teams in the NNL and how they can also compete with teams in the NPFL. All we need is just the right organization. All we need is just basic structural setup, just to ensure that the quality of football and the quality and the ability of players that we have in our leagues, not just the NPFL, the NNL and the NLU, goes through into our Super Eagles of Nigeria, and also not just Super Eagles, but also our under 20, our under 17. We have in abundance of talent, in our local leagues, and El Kanemi Warriors, can only hope, to continue on this stride in the NPFL and also in the CAF Confederations Cup.
All right, by the way, coach of both sides had a lot to say after that game. For Petology, who was in our studios on Friday evening before that game, and not forgetting Aliu Zubeiru, who also was part of the setup on Game On. They had a lot to say after the game, but it was the coach of El Kanemi Warriors who was all smiles after winning the first national title in his career.
The group of the players that are assembled are very young, but very hungry. They want to make name for themselves. And they were very ready to go. So as when we started the NNL of this season was not like the one of, anyway, maybe 2 seasons back, straight to promotion. But this one, after winning from your group, you still have to go through the Super 8 or Super 4, whatever we call it. Now, at the time, we were playing the 2 competitions, which wasn't easy. But my initial intention of getting younger players now played out, because they were the one that we have perseverance and resilience to keep pushing. No matter the loading, I know they will keep pushing. And it wasn't easy anyway, but I know because of their age advantage, that is, within the bracket, the age bracket within the team, is what gave us the opportunity of combining the 2 together and prevailing in the whole competition. We thank God for that.
All right, that was Aliu Zubeiru talking about the usage of young players in his team. Let me come to you now, Jeremiah. You are, of course, part of the post-match, and Zubeiru talking about the importance of having young players in the squad, and not disrespecting the senior players or the most experienced players in our league, but having them was key to his team getting the victory against Abia Warriors.
Yes, over time, people have always talked down on the fact that young players cannot make an impression when it comes to the big stage or the bigger competition. But that's not actually true, because we've seen in different different categories where we've seen young guys doing the big stuff. And just like what Coach Zubeiru said, let me paraphrase what he said, that it's not about the age, that what the real age is on the understanding of the game. And that's one thing that you're seeing, where you see players, you see clubs with younger players, you see them playing very well. Because if you look at sport or even football, football specifically, it's a game of energy. It's a game that deals with strength. And if you look at it, you can't compare the strength of a 25-year-old player to a 35-year-old player. Now, the 35-year-old player might be banking on experience, but when the test of strength comes in place, you cannot outmatch what a 25-year-old player is going to do, especially a 25-year-old player who understands the game. And that's why you see top clubs, you see top coaches even in the world right now in the EPL or even in the Spanish La Liga and the rest. You see them that they always emphasize that, okay, in my club or in my team, I must actually make sure that there's a quota, let's say 60% to the younger players or 40% to the older players. Just the fact that the older players will be able to help the younger players in terms of experience and the way by which they've played, they'll be able to put them in perspective in terms of character. But when you look at the times of strength, in terms of how they can put things, you can't admire that because some of these young guys are very ambitious. They have the energy, they're ambitious, they are ready to run, they have nothing to lose. They're not playing the big boy game. You know, if you look at the way these guys played yesterday, Nasiru, who was the man of the match in that game, he missed the penalty 15 minutes into the game, and you will see the way he got himself back, scoring again before the first half ended, scoring again in the second half. He could have scored an hat-trick in that game. It shows that he was not even thinking that, oh, I'm a big boy. What is the media going to say about me? He was not thinking about that. He does not even have a name yet. So he's just a young guy doing what he loves doing. So I think that's one of the things by which we need to look at it. And if you look at just like the way a child, we always do things. If a child doesn't care about, okay, I need to impress, I need to form some certain things, I need to do some certain way or create a certain impression so that people can actually speak positively about me. He just wants to do what he loves doing. Now he might be right or he might be wrong, but he knows he's open to correction. That when he's done, he looks into whatever he has done. Okay, if there's room for correction, he's going to correct himself or herself. Okay. So I think that's just the thing. But now where the fear is, Favor, is the fact that they will be playing on the continent. And over time, experience sometimes comes to play. I'm not ruling out what these guys are capable of doing. It's been a very long time, 32 years. Was the last time they ever won the FA Cup, which has been changed to the President Federation Cup now. So that might actually be a problem for them when it comes to that top spot.
All right. By the way, while Zubairu was all full of praises for his young boys, the coach of Abia Warriors, Beteloji, did of course talk about where his team failed to turn up on the day.
That things didn't go our way, especially in the first half. All our footings were very wrong. Our positioning, our ball possession was very wrong. And that we paid dearly for it. For the past 1 month, we have been on the road trip, playing the league, trying to survive the relegation, playing in the FA Cup. Well, I say to God be the glory that we have escaped the relegation. And now we focus on the FA Cup. But we had a very terrible journey. We went to Gombe, play after the match. We came to Abuja with the hope we are playing the finals in Abuja. Now they said we are moving to Lagos. We have to move. And we came in by 2 a.m. on Wednesday. So you see the fatigue. For the past four weeks, it has been very terrible. But it's very unfortunate we didn't get our playing boots right today.
All right, very terrible. While he was also talking, head coach of the President Federation Cup champions, Aliyu Zubairu, stated that Abia Warriors underrated his side just before the cup final, hence putting the side at an advantage to win the game. And remember, Kanemi Warriors won that game 2-0 at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena. Let's hear from Aliyu Zubairu again.
It's not easy. It's not all coach that goes through his career that have this kind of day. So it's an opportunity, and I thank God for that. Their resilience and their perseverance as players is something that is pushing us. No matter where we play, whether on the road, whether at home, they keep pushing. They never believe any team can beat them.
All right, they never think anything can beat them. Bankole, do you agree with the two coaches that spoke? One of them spoke of fatigue. That's Beteloji, saying that he had to travel, miles from Gombe to Abuja and then having to postpone the game to Lagos. For Aliyu Zubairu, he said that Abia Warriors underrated his team. What do you make of these two statements from the coaches?
It's quite interesting because football in Nigeria is, like I said earlier, is quite difficult when you give the topography of the country itself. Traveling from the west to the north, it is as exhausting as playing 90 minutes of football itself. And you look at a team that is coming from Gombe, had to go to Abuja, then navigate their way back to Lagos. It would have its own, it would take its toll, on players. So I understand, the point of view of Beteloji, but also, I think when you get to Lagos, or you got to Lagos Wednesday, 2 a.m., Thursday, Friday, I still believe that you should still be able to put up a better fight than you did on Saturday. I saw that game and it was an eyesore, for Abia Warriors. I think they could have done better. I think at the back of their mind, they didn't expect, the quality of El Kanemi Warriors to be that high. They didn't expect El Kanemi Warriors, to come out with that type of fight. And it caught them by surprise. And they found it difficult, to come back and recover or have any semblance of control all through 90 minutes in that particular match. So I think it's a mixture of both. I think the topography of the country has not exactly helped Abia Warriors in their traveling. But I also think, to a certain extent, they might have underestimated an NNL side in El Kanemi Warriors.
All right, let's see. So we'll only wait to see how that transfers into the NPFL season. But let's take a look at the prize money for the men's category of the Federation Cup. A whooping 50 million naira for El Kanemi Warriors. Runners-up, Abia Warriors, 20 million naira. MVP Nasiru Saliu, the El Kanemi Warriors guy who got a brace in the final after losing a penalty in the first 15 minutes. Top scorer Emmanuel Ogbole of Kwara United FC. Best goalkeeper Ali Ishaku of Abia Warriors. Jeremiah, 50 million, 25 million for the women. Fair enough, you want to say? And what do you make of the prize money for El Kanemi Warriors?
I think this is a big money. I think this is like the reward for the hard work, because if you look at the way the energy these guys actually put in playing, qualifying to the league, I can tell you, qualifying to the MPFL is more difficult than even playing in a continental game, because you are playing against teams that they don't care. They are not ready. They are not looking at big boys. They are not doing all those things. I was with one of their fans. The guy traveled all the way from Maiduguri to Lagos, and we're discussing, I think, during the halftime break, and we're just discussing, and he said that there was a particular game, I think one of the crucial games that set them to the Super 8. He said they were playing against Sokoto United, and they were losing by a lone goal. And towards the end of the game, I think in the 88th minute to the 90th minute, these guys scored 2 goals. And it shows that these intentionally they were ready for everything that was coming by them. And 50 million for me, I think, is a good one. And I'm actually expecting the governor of Borno to actually double that again for them, because these guys have actually proved that they are ready for the big challenge. I think it's a big reward for them. All
right, big reward for them, but we hope, we don't know if that will be in the mind of the Borno State governor with the insecurity issues at the moment in the state. But nevertheless, football is a unifying tool, and it's a tool to promote peace. And we hope that they can actually, this particular feat by El Kanemi Warriors will restore peace into the state of Borno